More raw food rehab, bedtime stories. Lisa Hudson, 43, Columbia, Tennessee. I ate anything I wanted until 13 years ago when we moved to Tennessee. I took a job in an office after being a housewife forever, and within 6 months, I packed on 65 pounds. That's pretty substantial. I mean, when I read that, I was like, whoa. Over the last 12 years, I've tried to lose weight with so many diets, I can't even count anymore. Each time, I would do really well for 2 to 3 weeks and then end up binging on the weekend, gaining it all back, plus some on top of that. I beat myself up each time. Lisa, I have so lived that life. I know what you're talking about. During this time period, I also had my last child. I was so unhappy with my life, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't beat this thing. My skin was really bad, and I tried everything I knew to correct it, but with no luck. I had GERD, which is a really hardcore acid reflux, and I was drinking baking soda every night to go to sleep. For about 3 years, I would vomit in the night because of the GERD. I think it's GERD. One day, I remember watching YouTube, and I came across a video that said raw vegan, and I watched it. That day, I probably watched 35 to 40 videos, and I found so many new and helpful websites. I went raw that day, and I haven't turned back, and I never will. I've even changed what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to open a raw food restaurant and store in my town. I have lost a total of 35 pounds since I went raw, and 15 of it during the raw food cleanse experiment. I feel truly amazing. This has become a life-transforming way of life for me with no turning back. I just can't shut up about raw foods. I love that. Okay, Lee Lampkin, 55, and Megan Sutton, 31, mother and daughter in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Lee, which a lot of you don't know Lee's story because she's pretty quiet about it, but listen to this. Lee says, honestly, I just feel better when I eat raw. Food seems to taste better and it's cleaner. For instance, I've noticed that I can eat a potato and I don't need to pile a whole bunch of other stuff on it to taste good. I actually enjoy the taste of a potato in and of itself. I notice the simple goodness of real food now. I find that I'm much less a meat-based person now that I eat a high raw foods diet. I just don't crave it anymore. I love fresh juice and fresh smoothies. Clean is the word that keeps coming back to me. I was diagnosed with a fairly rare form of cancer before upping my raw food intake. Once I realized what I was dealing with, I became very serious about what I was putting into my mouth and my overall lifestyle choices. I was able to tolerate hideous, horrible chemo that's not even FDA approved outside of the Houston Medical Center that I went, and 4 surgeries. I tolerated them like a 25-year-old. Those were the doctor's very words. I've not only survived, but I am continuing to survive this cancer. I attribute this in large part to my diet. During the chemo, I could not eat much of anything. I would always eat raw, and I craved fresh juices, particularly orange, carrot, and apple juice. Even at my most nauseated, I could always drink fresh, raw juices. Sometimes that was all that I could keep down. Now I've started running with my daughter, Megan, who also joined me in the raw food cleanse experiment. We have both lost well over 10 pounds each, and we feel great. There's no doubt that this is a lifestyle we'll both continue well into the future. And now for Megan. My mother was diagnosed with a rare cancer in my adult years. She wasn't given a very good percentage of survival, so I was determined to help her find what would make her thrive. As a family, we have made more of a conscious effort to eat our way to health through real food. My mother has recovered very well, and she has beaten the odds. I truly believe our bodies were made to heal themselves, as long as we don't get in the way. We were designed to eat the fruit of the land, and if people would just go back to the basics, they would find that they're in control of their own health. Just because we continually get older, that doesn't mean that we have to feel that way. Just love that. Melody Bertoli, 51, Antioch, Tennessee. I'm telling her story. I met Melody on Raw Food, and we've been internet buddies for quite a while now. Like many others, Melody has struggled with her diet, so I was excited that she signed up to be one of our research participants. One of her biggest motivations in changing her diet for the good has been observing her mother's illness and the dependency her mother has on prescription drugs. Melody wants a better life for herself. I'm so proud of Melody because she kicked 14 unwanted pounds to the curb while doing the raw food cleanse. And she actually learned to like green smoothies as long as she uses spinach, since she's not a big fan of kale. She plans to make the raw food lifestyle a permanent approach to eating so she can experience the best health possible well into old age. Awesome. Margie, 46, Maryville, Indiana. You guys know Margie is Kiwi. When this experiment was first talked about, I couldn't wait to start. At first, I was very committed, but then things in my personal life interrupted, which meant that I didn't eat 100% raw, which was my goal. At times, I would eat unhealthy things, but overall, I did pretty well. I do feel much better now than I did 11 weeks ago. Some benefits of doing the raw food cleanse are I sleep much better, my hot flashes disappeared, pain from my trigger thumb is gone. I want to ask you about your trigger thumb. What trigger? What are you, is that, what you triggering with that thumb? I need to know that. My hair stopped falling out and it seems to be much fuller. I feel a new sense of calm, almost like an inner peace. Although this feeling isn't constant, it certainly is there. Sometimes I'm aware that I have a feeling flowing through me like I'm oozing love out of every pore. Maybe this is an endorphin high. I don't know, but it is a good feeling. I want some of that. Because I'm leaning towards a more simple way of life, I feel that a raw food diet is the simplest way for me to eat. This natural lifestyle is also one that leaves a smaller footprint. Now that I buy items that use natural packaging, I have very little trash. I love having a blended smoothie for a meal. It's the easiest way to get a lot of fruits and vegetables in, especially the greens. Juicing is another way to get nutrients in, but it's without fiber. I don't like it as much as smoothies, but I did juice an entire watermelon yesterday, and it was amazing, really refreshing. Not only am I using raw food for weight loss, I'm also using it for disease prevention. I'm at the age where things can really begin to fall apart, and I've been pretty much lucky so far. You can have all the money in the world, but without your health, you have nothing. This way of eating is paving the road for a long, healthy life ahead. Love it. Delaney Barini, I think that's right, Barini, 33, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Even though I had followed a raw food diet before finding the raw food cleanse opportunity, I feel like I was able to go raw and stay high raw this time because of my discipline with green juices. No matter what, every morning I juiced. With the greens flowing through me, I had no cravings for anything that wasn't good for my body or part of my journey. Plus, the juicing allowed me to eat fewer meals and help my digestion because I wasn't snacking all day. Normally, I eat all day. Juicing is king. During the 11 weeks, I was able to let go of dates and nuts and all the heavy raw foods, including coconut butter, that I've struggled with in the past. I love my body now, and I love waking up and going to the gym. I feel really clean. For 2 months of this program, I ate 80% fruit and 20% vegetables. I think this served its purpose. So now I'm back to steaming and baking yams occasionally for dinner. I'm not stressing so much about my rawness like I did in the past. I realized that I may eat more or less fat or more or less fruit along my journey, but I will always stay high raw. The key is not becoming too dogmatic. I have to monitor and see how my body reacts as I switch things in and out of my diet. I think that's good wisdom. I cannot follow raw gurus and make their diets mine. I have to figure out for myself. That's a really big lesson that I learned. I've continued to release weight, 17 pounds altogether, and even though I'm slender now, I feel that my body is still surprising me with new and healthful discoveries. One of the best discoveries for me was that I used to be into a high-protein diet in my 20s, and I dated men that insisted that I had to eat meat to build muscle. I saw an old ex-boyfriend over the weekend. I was carrying a big box, and he commented on my muscular arms, and I said, "Yeah, pretty nice, huh?" He said, "Even without protein." I said, "Fruits and vegetables have protein." I just think that's awesome. Okay, more later. Mwah.